the Solar Flares. I was originally going to talk about 007, but I figured to talk about this team instead. Starting off in 2021, with the Jawbreakers and Hornets going out, two spots opened up, one of them being taken by the Glaciers and the other spot going to the Flares. Their roster consisting of Captain Flare, Scorch, Radiance, Ember, and Reserve Blaze. They would kick things off decently in qualifiers, taking third in Swing Wave. The unfortunate thing for the Flares, that would be their only good event in that year's qualifiers. Mediocre performances in Funnels and Sand Rally along with a last place finish in Relay led to them kicking their career off in the Showdown. For how they would do in the Showdown, it would be mostly bad. Out of the 8 Showdown events, 7 of them were in the bottom half. Their only bright spot that year was a gold in Triathlon by Ember. The team itself would flame out early and would finish in last overall. Not exactly the start they were looking for. After a performance like that, there is nowhere to go but up for the Flares. And the fortunate thing for them is that the 4 relegated spots for the 2022 Showdown will be taken by an expansion group. So the Flares will get their shots in the 2022 qualifiers. So what did they do with this opportunity? Nothing. Flare and Scorch with a disappointing showing in climbing, Radiance taking last in hurdles, the team completely falling apart in balancing, and the Flares are ineligible of qualifying before triathlon. Ember showed heart in that event, but the damage was already done. Their performance in 2022 would be very reminiscent of the year prior. The main differences being they had more than one top half placement and they had more than one last place finish. Flare showing off their brilliant speed in sprint and Scorch being Scorch in funnels. However, an excellent performance in climbing by Ember and Blaze would propel the Flares into 12th, one spot above the relegation zone. They just need Radiance to hold their own in Sand Rally. The last time they raced on a sand course, they took 11th out of 12 marbles. Can they change things? No. And it wasn't even close either. They were as high as 10th before dropping to last with a minute left to go. And that is where they would stay, giving the Flares their 3rd last place finish of the year. This would drop the Solar Flares to 15th and they would miss out on the 2023 qualifiers. 3 last place finishes and they don't even take last overall. The Oceanics were that bad in 2022? One of the good things that can be said about this team, they do have Christmas spirit, with Scorch finishing 8th in the 2022 Christmas race. The first 2 years have been rough for the Flares, but they have a chance to do something in year 3. Their start to the 2023 Showdown would be slow, kicking things off with a last place finish in team pursuits and a 12th in relay. Their best finish in the first half being 9th at funnels. By the end of the first half, the Flares would sit in last, but they would kick the second half off nicely with a bronze in Swing Wave. That would move them up into the safe zone before they quickly drop back down with a 12th place finish in Sand Rally. Heading into Honey Dome, all eyes would be on Ember. They would find themselves going through early struggles, sitting in last by lap 4, but if they would go on to make nice progress and would find themselves in 5th at some point in lap 8. And by the end of the race, that is where Ember would finish, and they would do enough to help the Solar Flares avoid the bottom 4. It's not quick progression, but they're at least getting somewhere. At least their Christmas spirit is still intact, with Blaze taking 4th in that year's Christmas race. 3 years have gone by, and from what has been shown so far, Ember is the only one that looks at least decent. Captain Flare is not leading this team anywhere, Scorch is more of an arsonist than Mary, Radiance is somehow worse than Scorch, and Blaze is barely subpar at best. And speaking of Blaze, they'll be partaking in Marble Survival 100 for the team. Their first week would be very strong, most of their results being in the top 10, including a bronze in the 4th race, and they would finish 6th after week 1. That would be the only good thing for Blaze in that tournament as they kicked the next week off with a DNF, and wow, they burned out completely, performing nothing like how they did in week 1, and they would finish 30th overall. Even with that, Blaze is somehow still the second best member of the team. Surely things can get better in the 2024 qualifiers, right? After a rather expected slow start in Ice Dash, The Flares as a unit used their lack of speed to their advantage in halfpipe, taking second. And below average performance by Blaze and Ember in Snowdrag would put the Solar Flares on the outside looking in. The final qualifier event, Short Track. Let's see, Ember and Blaze already went in Snowdrag, so they're out. Flare gave y'all their 2 cents in Ice Dash, meaning the only 2 marbles available are John Leonard or Raymond Lee Euler. Coach Eclipse went with the latter option. And it worked? Radiance had a strong showing, finishing second. Not just out of their heat, but out of everybody. And for the first time, the Solar Flares have qualified for our Marble League. Miracles do come true. For how this team would perform in the league, it would be a roller coaster. The team would show glimpses with a silver and halfpipe, but there would be some struggles as the team would have 5 bottom 4 finishes in the first half. 2 of those being Ember and Ice Dash, and Radiance in Short Track. Wait, didn't this marble do good in qualifying? Fortunately, the 16th place duo redeemed themselves in Domino Bowling with a gold. They would be in 12th after the first half, but would kick things off hot in the second half with a bronze in curling, and Radiance, they were soaring high in ski jump, taking gold with ease. The rest of their second half would be a bit up and down, Blaze showing themselves to be a valuable reserve. This team is still struggling at funnels. Scorch did better than expectations. And Flare, good teammates but unreliable for individual events. We know that's you, Azur. Actually, scratch that. Flare at least scored a point. Overall, the Flares would finish in 7th, which is impressive considering they finished in the bottom 4 7 times. And as a bonus, Radiance is named Most Valuable Marble. What a turnaround for them. Marble Survival Season 2 is on the way, and the Solar Flares are sending in Hotshot Radiance. And when they competed, they took the shock route of just do enough to survive. Most of their rounds weren't flashy, and it even included a DNF alongside Tarako. They would have a few races on the podium before ultimately finishing in 16th. Then comes the 3-event stretch of the 2024 to 2025 offseason. Ember qualified for the 24 minutes of the marble race, but out of all of the marbles that qualified for the race, Ember finished behind every single one of them. Their teammate Radiance competed in Marble Indy 500. They took second to last and got lapped twice. They also competed in the 2025 practice race, in which they also took second to last. It's fine, they're only off-season performances for a reason. You have 8 qualifiers to look out for, and you start off by taking last in relay. It's fine, just pick yourselves back up in block pushing, and you did poor in that event as well, only beating a team that is at a material disadvantage. 1 point in 2 events. Even with a 7th place finish in Swing Wave and another 7th place finish in Sand Rally by Ember, the Solar Flares would miss out by a decent margin. Back to the drawing board for this year. Their performance in the 2025 showdown was rather mediocre, their highest placement being 6th and their lowest placement being 12th. They were on the edge heading into the Sand Rally, but Blaze putting up a good enough performance to keep the team afloat. You live to see another qualifiers. Due to the success that was the 2024 Marble League, the Solar Flares are invited for Marbula 1 Season 6, sending in Ember and Radiance. Their season went about as expected. Only 1 top half finish, a 6th place at Aquamarine. I still don't know how I predicted that. Ember and Radiance combining for 6 scoreless races. Quite a dread season for both marbles, with Radiance taking 34th, Ember in 38th, and the Solar Flares as a duo would finish 19th. I would have said this is the team's only shot at Marbula 1, but then again, the Wolfpack managed to get a 2nd season. While Marbula 1 Season 6 was going on, there was the Impact Marble Racing Tournament, where every captain has to compete. Well, every captain available, that is. Flare was available, and they started off slow in the first event. The rest of the tournament wouldn't be as bad for them. Mostly mediocre, but they would also have 2 top 8 finishes in the last 3 events. Flare would finish 20th overall, which is decent for their standards. As for the 2025 Christmas race, what Christmas spirit, Ember fell apart and finished 31st. For Iron Marble, they would start off hot, placing 3rd after the first 4 races. But like the Bumblebees, The rest of their tournaments would be stable ground, and the Flares would settle for 14th. This team is slowly on the up and up, and they make sure to prove that in the 2026 qualifiers. Ember outclassing everybody in hurdles, and Radiance soul snatching the Midnight Wisps. Those two strong performances will be enough for the Solar Flares to qualify second. On to the 2026 Marble League. They start the year off living up to their theme, taking gold in balancing, and will have a pretty good performance in short track by Radiance. That is all that needs to be said about their first half. Outside of an okay performance in funnels by Flare, the rest of the first half wouldn't match up for the team. There would be 3 bottom 4 finishes, all of them being Triple Crown speed events. Ember, the marble that won hurdles in their group, took last by a comfortable margin. And Blaze, their heat contained 3 of the top 4 marbles from last year's sprint. Despite the hot start, the Flares would be in 12th at the halfway point. They would get things rolling again in the second half with a silver and half pipe, and Radiance would continue improving themselves with a bronze and underwater race. They would have issues with consistency, but for the most part, it would be a mediocre to below average season. But Radiance had other plans, ending the year the same way they started the year, finishing in first. The Flares, for the second time, would finish 7th with the same medal count, and Radiance would finish in second for most valuable marble. The career turnaround this marble has had. And that is the 6-year path of the Solar Flares. While this team isn't a deadly laser yet, they have been improving themselves year after year. Their first 3 years were a disaster, but they have been looking better in the next 3 years. As for the marbles themselves, Blaze is alright, despite coming off a 0-point season. Flare got their first top half finish recently. Scorch, they're still Scorch. Ember is still solid, but not the best marble anymore. That title belongs to Radiance, going from being the team's bottom feeder to a borderline superstar. That might be a stretch, but they have scored 111 points in their only 2 Marble League appearances. Let's see if they can keep the momentum heading into 2027. Until then, praise the sun.